What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, I've got a really fun discussion. Today, we're looking at Rikkas and just talking about them generically. Specifically, I guess, not generically. I'll talk about them as a whole, and then I want to talk about what I would want to see future support-wise for this deck, because I believe this deck's only gotten one card of support, and that is just Strenna. That's literally it. The deck hasn't gotten any other cards of support, so I still think there's definitely an avenue where this deck can get support in the next year, year and a half, whatever. So without further ado, before we jump in, let me talk about this mat real quick. This mat is beautiful. There's no opinions on it. It just is beautiful. If you want to get your own, I'll have a link in the description and a 10% code. My boy Charles from Team COG made a beautiful one with this. It's double-sided Ecclesia, facing down Golgonda on this side and backed up by Stigmata Dragon on the other side. Really, really beautiful. But yeah, that'll be down there if you want it. Anyway, all right. Today we're looking at Rikkas, okay? It's a really cool deck. It's a deck that I just recently got into a little bit as a rogue deck that I wanted to try out. It's way better than I thought. I mean, I just think because it came out right next to Emancipator and Eldritch, it got obviously hugely overshadowed, and nobody thought this deck was anything. But it actually does do some pretty cool things. And if you want to see the deck profile, I just uploaded that on the channel, so definitely go check out that on how I'm playing the deck right now. But yeah, without further ado, I think like the first thing we need to do is talk about where the archetype is now before we can even talk about what kind of support it needs, okay? So looking at some of the cards we have so far, these are like the 4 good monsters the archetype has. You've got a level 1, a level 4, a level 6, and a level 8. It kind of makes it awkward when it's an Exceed-based deck, but Snowdrop lets you do everything Exceed-based. Is insane. But yeah, Petal's amazing. This is your starter. It's Stratos that also summons itself back on your opponent's end phase pretty much every end phase. It's insane. Primula is just a basic level 4 extender. If a plant is tributed on your field, she summons herself from hand. It's basically all she's doing. And then Mudon can tribute a plant to summon herself, and if she's ever summoned by a plant monster's effect, she will search you a Rikka spell or trap. That's insanely good. Get a ton of good utility there. And then Snowdrop is the last one. She's another phenomenal extender. She can tribute a plant to summon herself and another plant from the hand. Then she can pretty much change all plants on the field's levels to whatever one plant you want that's already on the field. So she can make 8s really easily, sometimes 6s with Mudon, 4s with Primula, and that's usually the big level. Sometimes you can make a rank 9, but depending on the build you play. But these are the main monsters. They're all really good in their own right. For spells, it's just Glamour and Flurries. Glamour's amazing. This is literally Rhoda for the archetype. Can potentially search 2 cards off of it, which is insane. Flurries is another interesting card. I've actually been looking at this more and more as of late. Really all it does is that if a Rikka monster you control is tributed, you can make your opponent tribute one of their monsters. Which is kind of cool because it's non-targeting, non-destruction effect. It's not even an effect, which means even in like the Ad-Ignister matchup, if they had the towers and it's the only monster they have, if you tribute a Rikka, you can force them to send that. And that makes this card like actually kind of useful. It's just a cool removal tool, and it's a continuous spell. So if you just like have this up for over the course of like an entire duel, get it early, you're just gonna end up sending like 2, 3, 4 monsters, over the course of things, and that's actually pretty dang good. For the traps, you have Sheet and Tranquility. Sheet's it's kind of like Widow Anchor in trap form. If you tribute a plant, you get to also steal the monster and make it a plant, which is kind of cool. And then Tranquility, it's Call the Haunted that can potentially reborn 2 if you tribute a plant. Really, really good as well. Nice utility. Sheet is nice, but I kind of feel like there's something else desirable there for disruptive cards. Then you get to the extra deck. This is supposed to be Teardrop. It's the only card I don't have for the archetype, but it's just expensive, and we have like Megatins and gold, another maximum gold coming up, so I'm hoping for a reprint there. But yeah, she's really good. Essentially she does detach a material to quick tribute a monster on the field. Yours, your opponent's, anything. Really strong. Then there's Kanzashi. She's literally there to help you like facilitate OTKs sometimes. And then you have Rikka, Strenna, Rikka, Queen Strenna. This card is so good. In fact, I think this card's better than this. Because it can equal that plus another card, or it can equal Hyperiton and another card. Really, really good. This card can just detach a material to add any Rikka card from grave back to hand. And if it's tributed while it has a material, so like after you've added something back, still have one material on it, it summons a rank 5 or higher plant exceed and attaches itself as material. That's insanely good. So this card essentially equals like a card back from grave, so recursion and another disruption. That's so strong in my opinion. I think this card's crazy, but I think the one downside about this deck right now is that this card isn't super easily facilitated by what the deck has access to at the moment. So really, where do I end up with support and wishing stuff? I end up with wishing for 2 new cards, and that's it. I mean, I really think 2 cards could really take this deck to the next level and be huge. So the first card is a monster, okay? And so let's look at the monsters out again. Is a main deck monster, and I think it's a specific main deck like thing that like the deck doesn't really have access to right now, which is a second monster, plant monster that can summon itself from hand, and it has to be level 4. It goes with what I just said. Strenna is so good. I think this card is like such an amazing support card for the deck. The deck doesn't facilitate it that well. I mean, hell, right now, most builds of the deck are just playing World Carrot Weight Champion, and he's essentially a vanilla. I've never seen myself even thinking about using his effect. It's just not that good. You don't even use, you just use him as a 19 beater, but a level 4 like plant. That's all he is. But if we got one more card, and it doesn't even have to be a Rikka card either. Obviously, it has Rikka in the name. You get a little more versatility with like searching it with glamour and petal and stuff. But just leads me to where I'm at, which is like, if we got one more card, and I guess the way I would want it to work is simply maybe it just says, if you control a plant monster on the field, you can summon this card from your hand. But maybe it locks you into plants for the rest of the turn. Multiple other cards in the archetype already lock you into plants, so that's not a huge deal, but it does keep it from being abused like in other decks generically. I don't know, that aren't plants, so cool. And then you could give it some bonus effect, right? Because that's still pretty simple. And if it's going to be type locked like that, it could have like an effect in grave that like, oh, if a plant's tributed on a turn, except the turn this card's sent to the grave, you can draw a card, banish this card and draw a card. Fine, right? I think that would work. But plain and simply what that allows you to do is make Strenna much more consistently turn 1 and without your normal summon. Or using Petal as your normal summon. So like that would just even simply make a turn 1 play go Petal. Petal search Mudon. Mudon tribute Petal to summon itself and search a Glamour. Now we can Glamour tributing Mudon so that we can search 2. And let's say we search Primula plus the new level 4. We'll call this this Flurries the new level 4. Well, Primula will summon herself in a new chain link because a monster was tributed. Then you can summon the new one because you control a plant. Boom. Overlay for Strenna. Add a Glamour back to hand or a Mudon back to hand, whatever you want for follow-up. All you would need at that point is access to anything that tributes her. So that could be a potential Snowdrop play in hand. That could be either of these. You just set these and you can do it on your opponent's turn because she'll still get you to the Hyperiton on your opponent's turn. But you also just got like Follow. That was a 1-card combo and you ended up with Glamour back in hand. And Petals and Grave. So you literally you went like +1 there because Petal's going to come back. And you just are going to turn this into a disruption if you have any card that gives you a way to tribute it. So I just think like a level 4 makes that so simply easier and better in so many ways that like I think that would be like a really, really nice option for an extender. Or maybe give the deck another normal summon. I don't know, right? Like that could be a thing too. Maybe it has an effect on summon on top of the fact that it summons itself. That could be cool. The other card though, I just think like that's my first conclusion is this deck needs another good level 4. It just feels like every level 4 plant that exists is just going to be used as a vanilla essentially. You just normal summon it and it's a 1900. Boom, vanilla. Like that would work. Angel Trumpeter works seriously. Okay, and then we get to the other card I want, which is a trap, I guess. Like that's the thing, right? If you're ever talking about a trap card for support, you could also just say it could be a quick play spell. So if it's a quick play spell, it obviously becomes better, more versatile, whatever. But there's one specific thing I want to see here, and that is essentially like a counterpart for Sheet. We have stuff like Salamangrates, which have Rage and Roar, and they really feel good. You have one that's just that hard negate counter trap, and you have the one that's just mass removal. I kind of want the removal one here. We have the negate. It's only monsters on field, but you can also steal them, so that's kind of cool. I would love to see like more permanent removal outside of what's her face? The Teardrop herself, the deck really doesn't remove things that easily. And so I'd love to see a trap card or a quick play spell that said like something around to this effect, right? Target one card your opponent controls. Destroy it. But then obviously we have to have the special sexy clause that Rikka spells have that says something like, you can also tribute a plant on activation, and if you do, destroy one more card. Maybe the second card doesn't need to be targeted. Even if it's destruction removal, I'm still cool with that. Or even maybe something of like, if you chose to tribute a plant, maybe you banish the cards you targeted instead of destroying it. That could be the bonus. That's still pretty decent as well. Maybe maybe pop a card, then banish something from grave. That's still pretty decent. I don't know, some kind of nice little bonus effect. What I think that does for the deck is that the deck really doesn't remove spell or traps. It has All Say, which is not even an in-archetype card. You can make it fairly easy, but like you're going to put an okay amount of resources into just making a card that's going to like try to remove one back row. And it like plays like that get punished so hard, I feel like, by back row. So this would give us the potential, especially if the bonus effect is going to allow you to pop 2, it'd give you the potential for a 2 pop, which is so strong. I think that'd be so cool. Maybe it has a recursion effect in grave too. That would be crazy. You know how like rage comes back? Maybe it's something like if you Exceed summon a Rikka Exceed, you can reset this card back from grave but banish it when it leaves the field. Cool, you get one more use out of it. The deck's all about grinding, and I feel like that would be a really strong bonus effect for a card like that. But that's what I want to see. Again, it could be a quick play spell. That would just make it even better going second. That's another thing this deck is not amazing at, is going second. But the deck plays a lot of hand traps, so it has the ability to play a lot of hand traps if you want, especially the pure control version, which I think is the best version for the deck at the moment. But yeah, that's where I end up. Those are the 2 cards, a cool level 4 extending like Rikka monster, and a good interruption trap or quick play spell that gives you the ability to remove stuff, right? You have such easy access to a card like that. I just want to be able to remove things easier in the deck. The deck just does not take care of things that are already established as well as I wish it could. So those are my opinions there, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts there, right? Like, these are just my thoughts on what I'd love to see for the deck. Let me know if you could give the deck like 1 to 2 cards. What would you want to see most? And what are your opinions on the cards that I suggested? I'd love to hear your thoughts down there. I love this deck. It's a really cool deck. I just want to get a cool discussion on it after the profile. Yeah, that's going to do it for me here. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more discussion videos like this one down the line later on. I do these all the time when I am just feeling a deck, want to talk about a deck. I'll just do something like this. But yeah, that's going to do it for me here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.